Have you heard someone say to you, you need to meditate? Meditation's really important for your mental health and you should be doing it regularly. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's slow down today because I want to talk about my perspective on what I've learned in terms of meditation and share that with you today. And hopefully it will be of benefit to you. Okay, meditation has been a tricky one for me. Uh, you may hear stories that people say things like, "I just can't keep my thoughts to quiet. I keep getting my thoughts are just crazy. They just won't shut up." Right? I'm totally with you. Yeah, it's really it's a real challenge to start off with. Well, actually, sometimes to be honest, when I've restarted and started meditation over the years, guilty as anyone of stopping it and then starting it. What I found is I get excited for a couple of days and it kind of goes like downhill. It's like, oh, this again. And then it's like, I might quit a little bit, right? So this is what I found has worked for me personally and why I believe it's beneficial. So we can't like have no thoughts. We're human beings. The I don't even know if we like let's not, and probably won't dive into that because there's no like, it's going to be very difficult to kind of really tell. But like, I don't know if when we leave this world, when we pass away, that we truly stop thoughts as well. Who knows where we go, right? That's the excitement. But I don't think like definitely on this planet you're never gonna not have any thoughts. Like even when we're dreaming, we're kind of like thinking of things. You can go into the subconscious, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's very difficult to have zero thoughts because we're human beings. Maybe hopefully you agree with me. But meditation for me is allowing like focus and perhaps redirecting, refocusing back quicker. I remember, and I wish like if I had thought this through a little bit before I started writing this podcast episode out, I might have got some names and stuff. But I do remember um, there was like someone I really, someone I followed in the personal growth space. They were talking to like a meditation master. It might have been like a sad guru or someone like that who said this to them. Said like they don't focus 100% of the time. They just come back to the present moment very, very quickly, right? And that's what really I see as meditation. It's focusing on one thing. And even if the mind goes away, sorry, even if when the mind goes away, like I said, because we've got thoughts, it's about how quick you come back to yourself. And meditation masters come back very, very quickly for their focus back to the present moment or the thing they're focusing on. So that's my understanding of it. And hopefully that's really going to be useful for you as I go into some more tips on this today. So we have very crazy, noisy minds, right? It's like training a muscle. Okay. And what I found is that a lot of times it takes shorter practices and then you can build up over time, right? Now, maybe you're a little bit frustrated and you're not getting a breakthrough. Well, I've certainly been there, so um, I know how you feel. So let's dive into how I personally find meditation beneficial. So for me, like I said, it's about focusing. So the first thing is what I like to do is do some breath work before I meditate. Breath work allows me to change my state. So it calms me down the nervous system. So it's a calmer state. It's very hard to meditate and focus on one thing when you're in a fight or flight response or in a bit more of a stress state, right? And one of the ways you can change your state very quickly is by working your breath for a few minutes or even a couple of minutes, because that's really going to get you back in the state. So first of all, I like to do some kind of breath work, like 10 to 20 minutes for me personally, but you could do just 5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes if you want, right? The second thing is making sure your diet the night before or that day, depending when you're going to meditate, is pretty decent and it's not like full of processed sugars and all that kind of thing, because that's really going to impact your thinking, because food impacts on the brain and the activities going on in the body and the processes. So you could be in a more like kind of stress or anxious or borderline sort of like excited state. And that's going to be, even though excitement's a good feeling, things like anxiety and the stress are going to be are going to impact on your ability to be with yourself and meditation. So that's what I would say, like making sure you're not just you've had a load of like sugary drinks or food before you do it, or just something that impacts your body. The next one is start small. Start really small, like small chunks of breath work, and build yourself up over time as you do more and more of it. Okay, the next point is focus on observing. Just focus on observing one thing. Could be the breath, could be the heart. I like to focus on coming back to my heart because that really, really helps me. And then the final point I want to share with you is celebrate. When you come back to focusing on the present, celebrate, because the more you celebrate, the more the nervous system wants to do more of it. So the overall benefits I find is when I combine like a good diet and looking after my brain health, which I talked about in a previous episode, alongside doing things like meditation, it allows me to be more focused, more present, that I can see maybe challenging emotions. It's not about having no challenging emotions in life because life happens, but it's about seeing them and then coming back to the present moments and seeing them as just thoughts that are coming along. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Oh, actually, I'm gonna add a final tip for you before we wrap up. One thing that's really helped me is binaural beats. These are things you can find on YouTube, and what they do is they create. You listen to them with headphones in. It doesn't really work if you're listening it to on like a laptop or phone out loud. You got to have the headphones in. They create a kind of frequency to really sort of like calm your brain down a little bit, or kind of like be at a certain level. So binaural beats I find really, really helpful for meditation as well. One of my mentors said they're like the what are the things you put on bikes to help stabilizers, that's it. Said like binaural beats are like the stabilizers to meditation. Stabilizers, like when you start riding a bike as a young kid or maybe a bit older, whenever, you use that to get going. Well, binaural beats could be like the stabilizers of meditation, really, really helpful. And I know I've meditated many times with binaural beats. It's been really helpful. So that concludes today's episode. Just a quick recap through the points again. So breathing before you meditate is really, really helpful, I find. The next point is watching your diet, watching what you're consuming. You don't want to be like, I didn't say this, but you don't want to be consuming too much social media either, because that's going to take away your focus. Start small, even if it's 5 minutes when you're meditating to begin with. Focus on observing, then clearing stuff out of your mind and just focus on one thing. Maybe it's your heart, maybe it's your breath. Celebrate when you come back. When you're like, you catch yourself going away and thought, and then you come back to your center again. Celebrate, because you want to do, it will make your system want to do more of that. And then the final bonus thing I mentioned is binaural beats, because that can really help focus as well. So I appreciate you for being, by the way, on binaural beats, you can find plenty on YouTube. Just type in binaural beats. It's BINURAL, binaural beats. I think I spelled that right. If not, it'll correct you. Anyway, so I appreciate you for being here. And remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.